what was interesting is the money started to flow more quickly, and it started to come into my life because I think again, I believe that whether you're whether you believe in God or the universe or whatever you believe in, I feel like that when you start to manage something effectively, it's going to enjoy being around you. And it's kind of funny. I think about, how do you treat money? Do you treat money with respect, or do you treat money frivolously? Like it's just, yeah, it comes, it goes. You don't care about it, because money, if you treat money like it's your good friend, it's going to want to stick around. It's going to want to be there with you. It's going to want to hang out with you. It's going to want to bring its friends and have them hang out with you as well. And so I started to believe that, you know what, I need to be the kind of person that.
Welcome back to Relatable Wisdom, the podcast where everyday people share the quotes that shaped how they see life, offering you daily doses of perspective and insights to carry with you. Today's guest is Paris Cluff, a financial coach and father of five who has walked through both tremendous loss and remarkable rebuilding. After losing everything and starting over, he spent over 2 decades helping families transform their relationship with money, all while being married to his best friend for 28 years. Let's step into Paris' world and hear the code that has guided him through it all. Tell us your name and what's your favorite quote is.
My name is Paris Cluff, and one of my favorite quotes is that money doesn't make you, it reveals you, and then it magnifies you.
Ooh. Money doesn't make you, it reveals you, then it magnifies you. How long ago have you known this quote?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of a play on another quote by, I think it's Henry Ford, that said something along the lines that money doesn't make you, it reveals you. And then I thought, it also magnifies you. So if you have a lot of money and you're a jerk, you're going to be a bigger jerk. If you have a lot of money and you're a really good person and you're kind and you're benevolent and you're generous and you have a lot of money, you're going to magnify kindness and benevolence in the world. And so, money doesn't make you, it reveals who you are, because the more money that you make, the more that kind of shows everybody what you're really made of. And so, as a financial coach and a financial professional, one of my goals is to help good people make a ton of money and build wealth so that we can have more good in the world. And that's really why I like that quote so much.
Okay. When you say money doesn't make you, I want us to take it um, part by part. I think there are three parts. Money doesn't make you, it reveals you, it magnifies you. I want us to look at the make aspect. What
Mhm.
does it mean for money to make some? What would that scenario look like?
Well, a lot of people think that money, you know, the person becomes great because of the money that they're making, and I don't know if I believe that, because I know a lot of really good people that don't have a lot of money. I know a lot of jerks that don't have a lot of money, so it really doesn't. The money itself doesn't make the person. The person makes themselves, and then the money just reveals that even more. So if you don't have a lot of money, you're not going to have and you're a jerk, you're going to be a very small jerk in the world. And so that's one of the reasons why I think that money doesn't make you. You make yourself. You become who you're going to be based on your life. And there's good people in really rough circumstances, and in the same set of circumstances, you find people that are complete jerks. And so to me, it's not the environment that even makes a person, it's their attitude and their belief systems that make themselves. And then what they do with that is how it really manifests in the world. And so I just feel like there's a lot of people, money has a big money's kind of weird in the world. People think that the people who have a lot of money are they did it because they, were jerks, or they walked all over people, or they did something illegal or something strange. There's a lot of weird beliefs about money. And I know a ton of really good people that have made a lot of money. And I've really good people that haven't made money. It's just money makes more of what you would already be yourself. So that's kind of where money doesn't make you. You are who you are, and you become who you are based on your beliefs, your habits, behaviors. And then having more resources just allows you to be more of that, in my opinion.
Yeah. That's what you say is it reveals you. And before you explain that, what it's popping up in my head right now is the fact that most people they have these tendencies, right? They have these ideas,
Hmm.
these thoughts, not exactly good thoughts, not exactly good tendencies, but just that you don't have
Mm-hmm.
financial power to
Mm-hmm.
to realize that tendencies. And so what happens is that once the money comes in place, those tendencies
Mm-hmm.
that was there all along, it now becomes a tear. And then you're like, wait, but you never did this when you didn't have money, you didn't do this. I'm like, because I was broke.
Yeah. Exactly. I honestly feel like there are people that if it wasn't for the laws that we have, if it wasn't for police and other things, there are people that would do things illegal all the time because they didn't have anybody keeping them in line. And that's kind of the same thing with money is that if you don't have a lot of money, you can't spend on things. And so you're stuck. And so that's where it's just like money doesn't make you. It reveals you. You make yourself and then money will just help you be more of that because you can be and that's where I really want to focus in my coaching business. I really want to focus on the good. I want to focus because I believe in God and I believe that he watches out, he looks over us and he watches what we do, and the more good we do in the world, I believe the more blessings we get from him. And it's kind of like in my opinion, there are really bad people in this world that get away with stuff, and they seem like they get all the money and they get rich, and it doesn't seem fair. And I agree with that. It doesn't. It doesn't. And so instead of sitting around and being a victim and blaming, well, all these jerks, they get all the money, and us poor people who have good things, we don't get any of it. Instead of sitting around and commiserating or just always being so negative, my thought is let's go get money ourselves. Let's have good people go make money. Just let's do it righteously. Let's do it legally. Let's do it, in a way that will benefit the world. Let's go make a ton of money and counteract that. And so that's why I think that I want to magnify good in the world. And in order to magnify good in the world, I have to be a good person, and that money will only help me do that faster. And so that's why again, I like this idea that digging deeper into the quote it's really cool because it helps, it kind of forces you to really think about, wait a minute, why is that one of my favorite quotes? And yeah, I like that. That's really good.
Yes. What I'm thinking right now is that a lot of persons they have this hidden, this suppressed, that's the word, suppressed, financial situation has suppressed all those tendencies, all those things. And then there's this quote I heard that it's good to have the power to like be able to hurt someone, but choose not to hurt someone because you choose to, rather than not having the power. And then you like, well, I'm a good person.
Mm.
In that scenario, you're just a weak person. You're not good because to be good is a thing of choice. It's not like, oh, because I cannot fight people, so I don't engage in fights. I don't engage in violence, so I'm good. I'm kind. No, 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 no. It's a thing of choice. You should be able to say, if I want to slap this man and knock him out with my hands, I should be able to. I should be able to knock him out with one hot slap. But then I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. That's not what I want to do. Even though if he's talking gibberish and calling me names, I'm like, no, no, I'm not doing that. I just walk away. That's it's what it means to be good. So the question I want to ask now is, for most persons that are listening, right? According to the statistics, uh, they are trying to make the money. They're working on, becoming rich, having the money and all that. What can they do to figure out these tendencies, deal with these tendencies, work on themselves to become a better person before the money arrives? Because the thing about the money is that once the money arrives and you've not become that, as you said, reviews and magnified. It's an enabler, right?
Hmm.
It's an environment. It will be very difficult for you to say, I have this money. I don't want to be a bad person. I want then let me try and be this person else. It will be really be difficult compared to when you don't have the money and you're like, okay, let me work on my person, on myself. Let me become better because now there's nothing enabling you to do all those things.
I can just share with you what I did in my life. And I, when I first started my journey to create wealth, I was kind of arrogant and I felt like I'm going to be rich. And, again, going back to my beliefs in God, I pay tithing to my church and I thought, God's going to want to make me rich because he's going to want to have my tithing, I'm going to really, so that arrogance kind of led me down a road where I ended up losing everything. And I, I lost all, I lost my house, I lost everything, just my cars, I lost all of it. And I had to rebuild. And in rebuilding, I needed to do it from a different perspective. I needed to believe that I was already abundant. I needed to believe that I was already a good person, that I already had the characteristics, and that as I stepped into that, what was interesting is the money started to flow more quickly, and it started to come into my life because I think in again I believe that whether you're whether you believe in God or the universe or whatever you believe in, I feel like that when you start to manage something effectively, it's going to enjoy being around you. And it's kind of funny. I think about, how do you treat money? Do you treat money with respect, or do you treat money frivolously? Like it's just, yeah, it comes, it goes. It's, you don't care about it. Because money, if you treat money like it's your good friend, it's going to want to stick around. It's going to want to be there with you. It's going to want to hang out with you. It's going to want to bring its friends and have them hang out with you as well. And so I started to believe that, you know what, I need to be the kind of person that money wants to hang out with, and that I should be a good person, and I should do good in the world, and already believe that I have abundance. And it was crazy. As soon as I started to focus on blessing people's lives and serving people in a way that the money started to flow, the money started to come. And so if you're struggling right now to build wealth or to create an income stream for your family or for yourself, one of the things that I would just say is take a deep breath and really get clear on why you're doing what you're doing, and make sure that you're doing it in a way, I would say, make sure that you're doing it in a way that serves people, it serves others, and brings a solution to the problems that are in the world. And if you bring solutions and you do it in a way that's kind, and you do it in a way that's clear, and you have a passion, I think the money just will flow. And that's another way to become the person that you want to have magnified in the world. Does that make sense?
Let's take a quick pause. If you're enjoying this conversation and want more thought-provoking ideas straight to your inbox, join the Relatable Wisdom email list. It's free, quick, and filled with bite-sized insights, inspiring quotes, and behind-the-scenes reflections from our guests. Just head to relatablewisdom.com/join. That is relatablewisdom.com/join, or tap the link in the show notes. And hey, subscribing to the podcast helps more than you think, and it's free. So if you haven't already, hit that follow button wherever you're listening. All right, let's get back to the conversation. It's amazing how most of, like, you see, most everything that happens in the world first happens in the mind. You have an idea, you conceive
Mm-hmm.
it, and then whether good or bad, then say, okay, you then choose, oh, I'm going to do this. Usually before people commit crime, they think about it, that, oh, I'm going to rob the bank. And they
Mm-hmm.
start saying, okay, how do I rob the bank? They start working on the things they need to do. And then same thing, someone like, oh, I need to help the homeless. Like, yeah, yeah. What should I give to help the homeless in my community? I noticed that I need to get some of them create a program with foundation so that they can easily get a job, and then they can take care of themselves. They have a job, and then it comes in the mind, and then eventually it then metamorphoses into the reality.
Yeah,
Oh,
manifests.
I don't know if you've watched this movie, Inception, by,
Uh-huh, I
yeah.
have.
When in the movie they were like, how do we what is the most deadliest thing? That is an idea. And if you can still remember, they went into his dream to put in an idea in his mind, and that idea was ended up, causing great havoc or something like that. And most persons, they don't even have the idea, right? They don't even know that that life is possible. And then because sometimes you look at people, you tell them that, oh, you could do this and do this stuff, and then you make it so amounts and so on, and they look at you, you see,
Yeah.
and you're like,
They don't even believe it's possible.
this stuff is basic stuff. Everybody knows this stuff. Like, this stuff this is not news. I'm like, no, 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 really, you mean this stuff you're talking about? And the strange thing is that we believe that the things that are common to all is also common to all, and what is common to one is not common. The things you think for
Mm-hmm.
granted, that, oh, I know that this stuff, I know that if I have this mindset, the abundance mindset, that if I believe, it's not common to all. It's just you.
Yeah. Well, I think. I think that a lot of times too, I've done a lot of work with counseling and coaching with people. And one of the things I've noticed is that people who have a hard time believing that good things can happen to them is because they've had bad things happen so often that they hold on to those resentments. And I would just counsel you in any way you possibly can to work through those resentments and get rid of them because they're not serving you. I had a lot of resentments and I got rid of them and I'm still working through getting rid of them. And it's a lifelong process. But those resentments can hold you back.
Yeah.
And, a lot of times that's what makes you a jerk in the world is because you act out on that resentment that you have that you haven't worked through and you haven't cleaned out of your life. And so I would say spending time getting really clear. Mental clarity is important. Mental toughness is huge. The number one thing that I teach people is your mindset. Like your mindset changes everything. You have to believe, you have to have habits, you have to change the way you look at things in many ways. And once you start to believe what's possible, like you said earlier, I think it was Napoleon Hill that wrote his book, Think and Grow Rich. He says, whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. And that's something that you were alluding to earlier. And so that's absolutely true. My wife actually was looking for a job years ago, and she thought she was worth a certain dollar amount. And so she was looking for jobs in that dollar amount range. And then she saw an advertisement for a job in something that she was excited about. And she's like, I want to do that. And she went to go look, and it was actually 20 or $30,000 more per year than what she was looking for because she didn't believe that she was worth that. Now, so she went to school and she got the job doing it. And then she said, I don't want to work for somebody else. I'm going to go do it myself. And she became an entrepreneur and a business owner. And now she makes even more. So it really starts with that belief. What do you believe you're worth? And, a lot of times our boss will tell us what he thinks we're worth or she. And we're worth more than that. We're worth a lot more. And when we can bring value, then we can ask for more. And that's the whole thing is you got to believe that you're bringing the value. And then once you believe that, you can bring the value and then you can ask for more. And maybe you can work within an organization and be an employee, or maybe you've got to go start your own business and build your own thing. And I, I strongly encourage whichever one you are passionate about, go for it. If you want to be a really good employee and you want to be the best employee ever, do it. If you don't want to work for anybody and you want to build your own business, let's do it. Go for it. And it starts with that belief, I think.
Yeah. Two things I want to just extrapolate on what you said so far, and then um, we'll round up the episode. The first one is you talked about people having these issues that they've not dealt with, and so they project it to the world. And the thing is, oftentimes people learn the wrong lesson from experience that they have, right? I'll give an
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
let's say, okay, what example could I possibly? Okay, good or bad. Let's say someone tried to do a legal business, a legit business, perfectly
Mm-hmm.
legal, perfectly like helping society, not causing any harm to anybody. And they try the business and the business doesn't work out. And so what they end up
Yeah.
learning is that this business is trash. Now, another lesson
Mm-hmm.
they could learn is, oh, I don't really know this business. I don't even know what. Let me go reach out to some of the experts in the industry, learn from them, and really know how this stuff is. Like that could be a lesson. But then it could learn the wrong lesson that this business is completely not. And then another scenario could be that someone is doing a business that is a terrible business that is harming society. Let's say selling hard drugs
Yeah.
um, and they sell it, they do it the first time, they make a ton of money. They're like, oh, this stuff is
Yeah.
this stuff is wonderful. Why I can't believe I was wasting my time. Now, that's the lesson. But the thing is that that lesson is not going to stand them
Mm-hmm.
or help them. For other persons, like I was just some persons they do it that first time and then they go back on their knees and they start praying to God and say, God, thank you that they did not catch me the first time I was stupid enough to do this thing. From now on,
Uh-huh.
I'm going to go.
Yeah.
I say, Lord, I know that it's your mercy and grace. If not, I'm supposed to be in the prison, like serving time and all the stuff. It's how the same experience people would have. It's it will go on to mar persons. It will go on to work against them. And the same experience someone else would have, they would pick up a lesson that would help them and work for them. Most persons they learn the wrong lesson from an experience, and it ends up hurting
Mm.
them.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I've seen that. One of the things that not a lot of people realize is the statistics show that it takes 6 or 7 businesses sometimes before you find one that works. I know that I failed. I started and failed about that many businesses, 5 or 6. I tried all kinds of things, and then I finally found one. I was doing pretty well with financial advice as a financial advisor, and then I found another business that was about doing health insurance, and I just really did really good. Like I was just like, wow. And then now that that business is going really well, I want to go back to coaching and I want to go back to teaching people about money and how money works. And there's a lot of people that will sell you a stock or they'll sell you something, but there's not a lot of people that will teach you why you believe the way you believe about money. You know, there's a lot of people that will tell you how to get out of debt, but they won't tell you why. They won't work with you to figure out why you got into debt in the first place. And that's what I like to do. I like to talk to you about why did you get into debt in the first place? And so we can learn the lesson so that you don't repeat it. I There's so many people that will fail in business, and fail to me is an acronym, which first attempt in learning. And so if you fail at a business, don't give up. Keep going. There's something that you still need to learn. And somebody else may start that business and do really well because they've already learned some of the lessons and you still need to. Like don't judge someone else's chapter 5 when you're still working on your chapter 1, so of your book,
The prologue, not even chapter. You're still working on the
yeah,
prologue.
well, the introduction sometimes,
Introduction. Yeah, yeah. One thing I've noticed, and it's exactly what your quotes has said. In that is, people believe that money will make them. That's not true. People believe that
hmm
money will make them kind. That's not true. People believe that money will
mm
make them. Uh, what other things? What's you pretty common with this thing. What other things do they believe that money will make?
well, you hit it right on the head with happiness,
Okay, they believe that
and
it will make them have good
they'll
relationship with
make
their
them more.
kids.
Yeah, they'll make them more giving. Maybe they'll give more. Well, if you don't have a giving heart and you make a bunch of money, you're going to be selfish with a bunch of money. So it's true. You learn how to be good now, learn how to be kind now, learn how to be giving now. And then when you get a bunch of money, you're going to actually really do well.
There'll be something to magnify. There'll be something to reveal. Because you see, people they believe that okay, if of course money is good, it's important. Like it will increase
hmm
and improve the well-being of standard of living of life anywhere, any day, anytime. But people, especially it happens with parents where they spend all their waking hours um looking for money because they want to take care of their kids, which there's nothing wrong with that. But you see, this is the problem. They don't spend the time to actually train the child, see what the child is even doing. They don't even have time. They get to home 9. By then, the child is already sleeping. They're leaving the house 6 o'clock, and they probably preparing the child for school. And next time they come again 9 o'clock, they don't see the child is the company the child is keeping nothing. They don't even know what's going on. And guess what happens? By the time they get the money, they've lost the child. And sometimes they don't even get
Yeah,
the money. They lose the money, they lose the child. So sometimes it's it's not exactly a straightforward something, but it's one of those things that you have to like be careful that you don't end up losing the thing you were how do I say that? You don't end up losing the reason you were chasing the money in the first.
I think you hit it right on the head. That's excellent.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
That's excellent. A lot of people pursue something to get something only to realize they've lost the thing in the pursuit of the money. I strongly believe that people shouldn't. I've learned as I've gone through life. I'm 50 years old now, so I've been around a little bit. And one of the things I've really learned is that we need to enjoy the journey and we need to stop and smell the roses, so to speak, along the way so that we can enjoy what we're going through and we learn the lesson. And whenever I try something and I fail, I kind of smile now. I don't get angry or mad. I kind of smile and think to myself, huh, well, there's clearly something I need to learn. And so I just need to go learn it. And with AI and all these other great mentors in the world and podcasts and YouTube and everything else, there's so many people out there willing to share the things that they've learned and accelerate our learning curves. There's just in today's world, I don't know why people should be able to create wealth, at least be comfortable in life. I mean, they don't have to be multimillionaires, but they can at least be comfortable. One thing I love about the Stoics, and I love Stoicism, I study the philosophy of Stoicism as well. And one of the things that they talk about is that money doesn't really do anything for them. They call it a preferred indifferent, meaning they don't, whether they have money or they don't have money, they're still going to live their life, in accordance to their moral code, but they would rather have money because it makes life easier. And that's how I feel. Like, be a good person, live a good life, do good in the world. And yes, get money. There's nothing wrong with it. And get a bunch of it if you can, and then do better, do more good in the world. But don't lose yourself in the pursuit of money only to realize that once you get it, now you're lost, and you've lost all your family, and you've lost all the things that are important to you. So I totally agree with that. That's good wisdom.
Thank you so much, Paris, for sharing your favorite quotes and for helping us make sense of. And I'm really glad you, you accepted the invitation to be on the podcast.
You bet. Thanks for having me. If anybody wants to get a hold of me, should I leave them my website or something, or what do you think?
That's the next question I'm about to ask. Where can people learn more about you and connect with you?
So you can look me up, Paris Cluff. I'm on all the socials. I actually have a website, and I'll offer your listeners a free book on how I've used for 25 years. I've met with people, and one of the things that I get asked all the time is, Paris, how do I find more money to be able to get out of debt? How do I find money to be able to save or to invest? And so I created an ebook. It's a free book that you can download. You go to pariscluff.com/free book. And that is it's what I call my 30-day challenge. And the challenge is, in the next 30 days, if you read that book, is actionable steps, actual things you can do to change your financials. And it's written for people that are it's written for the economics of America, but I think the concepts will work anywhere you're listening. If you download that book and go through that, you'll be able to see how I help people find cash and find money in their current budgets. And it's at the first step to really creating financial freedom is having a positive cash flow, and that's what that book will do. And I have a YouTube channel as well, so look me up, Paris Cluff. You'll find me on all the socials. You can't miss it. I'm the only Paris Cluff out there that I know of. So
Yeah, once again, thank you so much for being a guest on the podcast. I got so much value from this episode, and I'm glad I was able to chat with you.
you too. Thanks for having me on. It was fun to chat with you.
Thanks for listening to Relatable Wisdom. If you found something meaningful in this episode, make sure to follow or subscribe wherever you're listening. If you'd like to support the show, you can do that by buying me a coffee. The link is in the show notes. Every little bit keeps the conversations going. I'm your host, Wisdom Okonkwo, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, stay curious, stay inspired, and keep growing.